All right, so I want to talk about putting these inner channels in place, a couple ways to do that. But before I do that, I want to show you kind of what I did. So I made the channel here. I copied it. And then I did the joint, over there. Then I did an extrude to make my long side. And then I did an extrude to make my inside piece. And then I copied both those an extra time. And I did my chamfers, one chamfer on my short piece, and then another chamfer on the long piece. I could have done them all at once, but I wanted to kind of keep it one command per part, just so it'd be easy. And then at this point, everything can move still. And so I don't want that. I want something locked in place. So I grounded this back piece here. So you can see I grounded it here. And then I went through and I did my joints from there to there and there to there. Make this shape. Okay? So at this point, I've got a few options. So I've got my sketch. I've got lines of where I want my things to be. That's good. I can use that sketch or I can just not use it. So if I don't want to use that sketch, I can just come in and I can do a joint. Thomas, you watching? And pick that corner there, spin it around. Pick that corner there, and now tell it how far apart I want it to be. I can do that, and now that piece is stuck where it is. And then I can go in here. It's got a little tiny flat spot there. Zoom in. Notice how far I'm zoomed in? That way it makes it really easy to pick the right spot. Right, I can always just pick here somewhere and then move the mouse without clicking, get in the right spot and then click. I can go over, grab that one, give it that spacing. So if I do that, I'm not tied to my initial sketch in the first anymore. And that's fine. I didn't necessarily, if I'd done it without drawing that sketch, if I just drawn that piece of rectangle tube and extruded it 5 feet, and then from the end of that one, extruded the new one 10 feet, and started putting it together without the sketch, that would have worked too. And I just have to do it this way. But I would be able to have full control over where the parts are, their space, and all that, right? Just not from a sketch, but from each of the individual pieces. But I want to do it based on my sketch. I did the work to make that sketch. I might as well use it, right? So what should I do? How can I put that in? So I want to put this one on that line. Ideas? Should I just try it and see? So let's try that. Grab it by that corner there. On that sketch and that side. If I go here and I click on this edge, it still wants where to put it, but it's going to go to the middle or there. Gives me an idea. If I go there, it's offset and I can just pull it back the right distance, right? But I could just, grab it by the middle and go to the middle. And now it's centered. Actually, that's a lot easier than what I did. Yeah, I could have done the original, that sketch for the outside and everything, but, or I could just done it without the sketch. So,
No.
Oh.
That middle bar.
See,
you created 2 of them.
Yep.
And I'm just talking about the order of things.
Oh.
It's completely created one and then put it
Yeah.
in place, then copy it.
Yeah,
and move
that's
it.
fine. And you could even copied it with the array, the pattern, the rectangular pattern, and made a pattern out of it. Because let's see, I did that. I put in the midpoint there to the midpoint there. I like that, but I want more evenly spaced. I can do a rectangular pattern with a component. So grab that component there, tell it the direction that way. Now I can tell it I want, how many of them equally spaced. Say okay. Now I've got a bunch of them.
Can you delete one of those and decide?
Yeah, so if I go into the pattern, if I turn on this little suppression checkbox, now I can say, I don't want that one. Oh, yeah, lots of different ways we can do it. I did it a long way. I'm not going to show you because this one. Actually, I will, just because it's a nice little tool to know. So let's say I had this here. I want to make sure it snaps right there. Maybe it's not centered. I don't know. For some reason, I want it to connect right there. Remember we did joint origins? We talked about it a little bit. If I pick that and I pick the line, again, it's still going to snap to the air. I can't make it snap there. I could go there and offset it, but that's not going to be automatic. So I'm going to do, under construction, remember there's all these little things. So I can have planes, I can have axes, and I can have points that I can do stuff with. So I'm going to pick a point from two edges. So I'm going to pick this top edge here, and then that sketch line, and say okay. And now, when I go to join origin, it's kind of snapping to that sketch. I'm going to turn off the sketch. Now it's going to go right there to that point. And it's facing the right way. So now it's an easy thing to come over. Grab that there. And then stick it on that point of origin. And it's there. By doing that, now I can just come to the sketch and I can adjust these numbers and everything's going to move. Whether you use that sketch or you just put them in by themselves, it all works. I'm just showing you kind of a more advanced way to do it. It's one that I didn't learn this stuff until way later, and most people don't teach how to use parameters or doing this kind of stuff until later. But it's well, here I'm going to give you the tools. Here's what it can do. If you want to use it, might as well use it now instead of learning all the hard ways to do it before you learn the easy way. Okay. And that's going to be kind of like how it is when we get to SolidWorks. Because we're going to draw the sketch first, and then you're going to say, make this tube, make this one, and then fix the corners. Okay? Any questions? What would be my next step right here? I've got the majority of the frame done.
Do the arm.
Arm, this?
Yeah.
The tongue?
It's a tongue.
Yeah. So in order to do that, what do I need?
3.
I need the coupler.
Yeah.
So when I go to Film Master, find the coupler, so that way I know what angle to make those arms at. So we're going to need to do that. And then also we need to do these sheet metal pieces, right? So it looks like this one, it looks like the bend starts at the outside of the material. So I'd probably draw, 3 by 1.5 inch piece. And then when I do the flanges, just tell it to, remember there's the option of inside, outside, or start, or whatever. I'd probably do the start, so that way it starts the bend outside of that for this one. But this one, from looking at this view, I probably want the outside of this to line up with this. All right, so there's space so they don't have to bend it in. So I would probably do the outside bend on that one, or the inside, make it inside of the shape. So that's probably how I do that. What about this piece right here, this flat piece? Does it need to be done with sheet metal or regular component?
Sheet metal.
Doesn't matter. Is it bent? Is it bent? It doesn't matter then.
Yeah, because I was gonna say it looks too thick to be sheet metal.
So the benefit of doing it with the sheet metal command is that when we go to do the nest, it's going to pick it up as sheet metal and know the thickness of it, and it'll put it on the nest. If you do it as a regular component, it won't work. Okay? All right.